How y'all doing today? So, my full name is Athicha Dhanormchitphong. My friends call me M, so call me M. It'll make your life a lot easier. I'm one of the architects for the digital reality ecosystem.
Good afternoon, guys. My name is Kyle Daughtry. My friends call me Kyle, so just go with that. We're here to talk to you a little bit about an initiative and a journey we're going on called the digital reality ecosystem and how we're helping ExxonMobil move to a more visual way of working. And I love everything that Vikas was saying about what Shell's doing. We're taking a little bit of a different spin on this conversation, so hopefully it'll help you guys out.
Cool. Let's talk about data. Industry data is moving at an exponential rate. It's compounding, guys. Sensors, maintenance records, P&IDs, drawings, and so forth, right? We are at an unprecedented time of transformation where I could probably pull back about 20 years of data for an operating pump, for example. As that data continues to compound, there's that saying, with great powers comes great responsibility.
I love that statement. We actually also love this slide in general. There's a tsunami of data coming. There's a tsunami of data that's already come. There's a study that showed from 2016 to 2021, there's an increase in big data of around 4,300%, which is it's massive, right? Data is the core for digital, right? And at the end of the day, it is the core component for digital transformation strategies. But as we kind of see it, we need new ways to be able to interpret, understand, and contextualize that data so we can actually understand it in a more humanistic and meaningful way. We say that we're going from what we're calling the age of collecting data into the age of experience to ultimately allow you to answer the question of, well, what do I do with my data now?
Wait, before we move forward though, let me ask you folks in the audience. You guys buy anything from Amazon? Can you raise your hands, please? Cool. What about use Yelp for restaurants, right? Especially here, we're traveling, right? And what are the restaurants we're gonna go eat at? That's what we're talking about, right? You're looking at that data to understand the reviews, right? To help you make that decision. The photos for that product that was purchased, the experience, the date it was published. That's what we're talking about. We are in the age of experience. And before we get into the digital reality ecosystem, I'm gonna walk over here actually, because my safety mind is like, you're gonna fall, so I'm gonna go down here for a little bit. But we wanna talk to you about the journey to the digital reality ecosystem. And our journey started off with real-time 3D. We started working with real-time 3D to create immersive training simulations, and our goal was to save lives. That led to, well, if I'm in this digital world for these training devices, for these training modules, can I visualize my entire facility in the digital world? Right, and that led us to design reviews for 30, 60, 90%. Natural progression was, well, if I could see my facility in the digital world, can you start overlaying data on top? You know, so we started doing digital twin exploration pilots to see, well, what are the single panes of glass of these proprietary stacks that can actually culminate all the data together? That led to, well, if we're working on all this immersively, well, how about I tie that to the reality? Can I see my model in the field? Almost like the will the couch fit scenario, right? IKEA showing you, hey, I'm gonna show you this couch, see if it fits, actually. We're doing that on a massive scale. Apply all those learnings, and we started thinking about, well, at real-time 3D, let's partner up with one of the gaming engine companies to create an application called Pipeline for Pipes. Our goal was to have an automated site training application. Tons of great work internally inside ExxonMobil around the value of 3D. And that led to this white paper from Global Projects, right? And that was published about what is the life cycle of that 3D asset and what's the value behind it. But after that publication, we started thinking about, like, what are we gonna do? Where are we gonna go with this? We've got all this information now that all the great minds put together. And that was the birth of the digital reality ecosystem, what you folks might know as the industrial metaverse.
One thing that I'll end on here is that we won't dive into a ton of details in each of these components, but we're happy to have conversations on it. So the sponsor that we ultimately jumped into moving towards this visual way of working, saw all of these on the left-hand side and rightfully pointed out that these were onesie twosies. These are things that we're able to do at particular sites, but we need to find a way to be able to scale that and bring it to scale. So M said industrial metaverse, and yeah, of course, you've got to throw industrial metaverse and digital twin and age of experience and all these flashy things in there. But I want to take you through kind of a journey over a history of time for industry, right? 300 years or so, over 300 years or so. From left-hand side of industrial 1.0 and the introduction of steam into the manufacturing process, right? It was amazing. Then there was a jump in 2.0 to ultimately enable the mechanical components to be able to take that to the next level, speed it up, right? Industrial 3.0 allowed us to bring in computing to automate the processes so I can do assembly lines in a much more effective manner. I like that slide and conversation that Ralph, you brought up earlier about it. And really where we're at right now is Industrial 4.0, or the connectivity of data, devices, lots of information coming towards us, or really the digital twin, or whatever you want to call a digital twin. There's many different definitions of it. But like we said before, we need to find new ways to be able to take that information, contextualize it, and ultimately understand it in more humanistic ways. So we see a journey into another industrial revolution in Industry 5.0, what we're calling the industrial metaverse.
This photo, show of hands, does this resonate with anybody? We are largely stuck in a 2D visualization world where there's a 2D artifact tied to our business processes. Let's go to the next slide. Here's more 2D data, right? Maintenance. We've got equipment records. We've got operation data. Risk. Think about engineering a project, things like ISOs, right? Again, all 2D. And what we're trying to do is to visualize that at scale. We see a world where operators are able to get fed that information, the right place at the right time, with real-time 3D.
So we like to say that industry is being disrupted now by real-time 3D. And what we mean by that is complete work transformation on areas through game engines because of the ability to enable real-time, anytime, in real world. So if you got kids out there that are playing Fortnite, Call of Duty, or Minecraft, tell them to keep going because they've got a position later on in their life.
I'm still playing it.
I'm still playing them too. End of the day, this is an image in the background. It might be a little bit dark here, of a fully simulated environment. That's not a picture, right? It's a simulated environment to look, act, feel, and touch like the real world. And we've got this out at a few of the sites. What we want to do is take that to scale. From the ability to see your simulated process flow to ultimately enabling an operator to see a fully realistic environment, go through consequences, and come out the opposite side unharmed, to designing facilities remotely and collaboratively across the world with anybody, anywhere. This is going to continue to be disrupted, both by tangential industries to ours and, frankly, the game engines of the world.
So what is the digital reality ecosystem? Our definition, it's a complex interconnected network with 3D at the core, allowing our asset information to be modular from systems, interoperable, agnostic from vendors. We want to make sure our data is based on industry standards so that way we can leverage corporate scale and integration. Why? Move into a visual way of working. Think about this. Sorry, I'm going a little bit off script real quick.
No worries at all.
Cell phone. 22 years ago. The 22-year-olds, we already know, right? That's what they're getting used to, a visual way of working. The purpose aligns with our white paper. Maximize the life cycle of our 3D assets for a wide range of visual modalities. AR, VR, modeling, designs, animations, whatever you want. And we got 4 pillars. I'm sorry, I missed that part again. I'm sorry. But we've got 4 pillars of our 3D asset lifecycle. Sounds like a novel way, right? But it really has helped the corporation align on these 4 pillars to think about how do we capture our 3D assets? Where are we storing them? Where are you delivering them? And how are we consuming them? This is how we're going to get it done. We're going to centralize our storage because what we've learned is our asset information is in disparate locations. They're either with proprietary stacks, visual asset management platforms, external hard drives, ShareFile, OneNote, SharePoints, emails, you name it, they're in disparate locations. Democratized capture. What are you using to create these 3D assets? Are you downloading them? Who's creating them for you? Are you using photogrammetry? LiDAR? What are the guardrails for that? Are you getting what type of dimensional accuracy or visual fidelity for that technology being used? And who are the viable service providers for that? Automate delivery. We've got real-time 3D as we've been talking about, but we've also got reality capture. And then we've got native models as well, various formats and forms of fashion. We need that pipeline so that way we can deliver those assets so we can consume it anytime, anywhere, whether it's going to be on a phone, ruggedized tablet, web-based client, AR headset, completely immersed in VR.
So it's a journey at the end of the day. And we threw out the industrial metaverse, but really that's a whole 5-10 year kind of plan platform. But we have to do something now. We've got to capture value now. And what we're doing in short term is we've built guardrails and guidance for the sites, frankly, that are already doing this work, and we're trying to bring it towards scale. We call this section Stop the Bleeding and enable them to do corporate scale and integration. To midterm, allowing us to decouple our data from systems and platforms. And like we said before, that's our goal, is to be able to have that decoupled so we can use it anytime, anywhere. To really long-term aspirational side of it is, I want to be able to visualize my fleet of assets from the global level and see issues tracking all over the world down to the molecular level. So throw this slide up there and just tell you, imagine a world where an operator can train on his asset, his particular asset, prior to the asset being built. Go through all the consequential scenarios prior to being able to be there in the real world. Imagine a console operator becoming the console and having every bit of information either piped to him in his phone or in his eyes. Imagine a design engineer sitting, having coffee at his house, designing a platform collaboratively across the world, down to the detail of the paint color on that piece of insulation on the pipe. Imagine a world where nobody gets hurt.
We're going to leave this last slide here with you folks. As we continue on this journey to build this digital reality ecosystem, we aim to tie our 1D and 2D data to our 3D assets. Ladies and gentlemen, we plan to keep our data agnostic, interoperable, and modular. ExxonMobil is moving to a more visual way of working. Thank you for your time.
Thank you all. And here's contact information. If you guys want to reach out, feel free.